So good morning, everyone. Today we're out here at the Wiregrass Research and Extension Center. We're at a study where we're looking at cover crops and the impact of grazing cover crops. This is a study that is supported by the state NRCS, and we're looking at the impact of different grazing treatments within a cotton peanut rotation. So just to give an overall design of this field, we have, this year we're in peanut, last year we were in cotton. We shoot to harvest our cash crops in October so that we're able to plant our cover crops early. Out here we have a mixture of rye, oat, crimson clover, and T-Raptor brassica, which T-Raptor is a hybrid between turnip and canola, which is good for grazing. And so some of the treatments that we're examining are our cover crop without any grazing whatsoever, and then we have different periods of grazing on the cover crop itself. So this field is divided into 12 different sections. In the winter, we have a lot of temporary fencing out here in the winter months where we have cattle rotating in and out. So our first grazing treatment, cattle start grazing around early January, and they come off around mid-February. Our second grazing treatment, the cattle come off in mid-March, and our third grazing treatment, our cattle come off in mid-April, which is pretty much just in time for termination that we do two to 3 weeks ahead of our cash crop. So the goals of this project are to look at how these different grazing strategies impact soil health. So we're looking at a variety of soil properties, including nutrient content, organic matter content, compaction, some of our microbial communities, and then how that impacts cash crop yields as well. So this is an image of what these plots looked like back in March. This is our ungrazed treatment where we had, you can see the rye, the oats, the crimson clover, and the brassica, in which we had about 7,000 pounds dry weight of biomass. So this is a lot of biomass to work with. And then in our mid-April cattle removal here, this is our longest grazing treatment. We had about 2,000 pounds of biomass per acre. So we have everything kind of in between that as well. So as we increase our grazing period, of course, we're decreasing the amount of biomass that's left in the soil. So we're kind of trying to optimize two factors here. We know that the biomass that's provided by a cover crop has a significant impact on some of the benefits that we expect to receive, like moisture retention, weed suppression, and organic matter, building of organic matter. So we're kind of trying to optimize those improvements for productivity, but also provide some grazing for our cattle. And since this is an NRCS funded project, it will hopefully go to inform some of their farmer assistant programs for cover crops. So this image here just kind of gives you an overview of the amount of biomass that's left with these different grazing treatments. Again, we can see about 7,000 pounds with control and 2,000 when we graze cattle up until planting of our cash crop. So again, we can expect to see some different benefits with these higher levels of biomass in terms of when we have a good bit of biomass out here on the soil, we can expect to retain more soil moisture and help prevent early season weeds and build up organic matter content. But one of the big concerns with grazing of these cover crops within a cash crop rotation is the compaction that those cattle create. And so management has really been a key factor out here on these fields. And if you'll switch out. So what we do is on our winter cover crop, we terminate about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of our cash crop planting chemically, and we use a subsoil roller to really break up compaction layers in the soil. So even though we've had these different grazing treatments out here, we have not seen differences in soil compaction, and that's primarily due to the fact that we're able to come out here and subsoil roll, and that allows our subsequent cotton and peanut roots to be able to get down deep in the soil where they need to attain moisture and nutrients. So this is an image of what the cover looks like after it's rolled as it's being terminated, and then this is one showing what it looks like planting into that residue. So again, we have a good thick mat of residue out here in our ungrazed treatments, and even in our mid-February, mid-March removal of cattle, we still have a good bit of residue left out here. So if we can flip this one more time. So last year when this field was in cotton, that was our first year following our grazing treatments, and we were able to look at yield according to treatment. And what we saw was that in our control and our mid-February treatments, we had about 200 pounds per acre more of lint production compared to our mid-March and mid-April treatments. I primarily attribute this to our, again, that thick mat of residue helping us retain moisture on the soil surface, because we did have a couple of droughty periods out here. This is a dryland field, and so having that mat of residue helped us to retain some soil moisture. So we'll continue to monitor this for at least 2 more years, potentially more, and look at the impacts that it has on soil health, animal productivity, cash crop productivity, and kind of the economics of this. We have are going to be looking at that as well. So thank you.